Hello, it's a lovely sunny day. Welcome to Connect and Knit. I'm going to show you some of my materials that I use, only some of them, mind. So first of all, I'm going to show you these needles. These are usually what people start with. Well, I think actually they start more with 4mm needles, which I've sent you. Those are the 8mm needles, and about 30 centimetres long, 35 centimetres long, quite long. So then you can do a nice scarf with those. Okay, those are one. And then I'm going to show you some really tiny ones. These ones, they're I think 2mm long needles. Yes, they are 2mm long. They're very tiny, aren't they? You can use these for lace, knitting lace. You use very delicate yarn for these. You can sometimes use really nice thin fine mohair silk. You can use these with fine cotton. Use those with. Okay. This is some yarn that I was given by one of my friends. I've got some of those friends. You can use some maybe not that thin a needle, but that's the sort of thing you'd be knitting. Maybe things like necklaces, brooches. Can do it with that yarn. Maybe more that size you'd be using. That is a 3.5mm. I tend to use 3.5mm for making toys. They give a nice close knit, and it's good for stuffing then. Stuffing things with those. I have what we call double pointed needles. That's DPNs. They always tend to come in a set of 4. They can be all kinds of sizes. Okay. You can go really, really big. These are my massive jumbo ones. They're UK 35. I think they're supposed to be 20mm. And they're easy to handle and they're durable. You can even do arm knitting, which I haven't done, but you can do that with chunky wool. It's really good stuff, really good fun to use. And they can be quite nice for in the winter when you want to have a cowl around your neck, that sort of thing. These are more what I tend to use nowadays because I lose my needles. So these loop type needles are on different sizes, right down to the tiny ones. And when I find one needle, I know I'm going to have to find I know I can find the other one, and it won't take me so long finding my needles. I know all over the place. Right, so what we're going to start with is doing your first stitch. First stitch, you always, learners, always have a tail. Always have a tail. That way you can weave it into your finished work and make it look crisp and professional, which is something what you want to do, because people, that's why people don't tend to want to wear homemade things, because they always look a bit dodgy, or things will look a bit shabby before they even started to be used in their required form. Right, so we're going to start with doing the first stitch, which is just a slip knot. And if you know how to tie a tie, then you know how to do a slip knot. Great. So, if you don't know, this is where we're going to do this now. So, slip knot. I'm in the garden, by the way. It's quite nice, my extra room. So, going round going to go up in the top loop. Can you see that? And then we're going to go down through this loop with your free end of your yarn. Can you see that? It's almost like a knot around the yarn there. And close that little bit with your free yarn, and it slips. You see that? It slips so well you can make it disappear as if by magic. Let's do that again. So got your free end, you're wrapping it around your working yarn once, up through the top loop. You're making another loop as you're doing that, up through the top loop, get your free end of your yarn and pull through. Okay, and again you should be able to use your working yarn to reduce your first loop for your first stitch. And again we're going to make that disappear. Okay, so that's when you know you've done a good job of it. If you ever find it's too tight, you just cannot get it to undo, just cut it off. It's easy, you know, you've got loads of yarn there, loads of yarn. All right, so make sure you got your tail, take it around your working yarn once around the back, up through the loop and down through the bottom loop with your free end of your yarn. Pull through and you have your loop. Okay, and again you can pull, and as by magic it disappears. Got it. that will go. Right, so that's doing your first stitch. I'm going to show you how to do your casting on the next video. Thanks, see ya.